Picture, if you will, a beautiful seaside town in the East Devon district of the southwest of England. If you visited this wonderful little town, then you most likely would have seen this building. This is the home of the Seaton Tramway. The Seaton Tramway is a 2-foot 9-inch narrow gauge electric tramway. This 3-mile route runs alongside the Axe estuary and the River Collie, running between the coastal resort of Seaton, the village of Colyton, and the ancient town of Colyton. The tramway operates over part of the former Seaton branch line, which closed in March 1966. It was established in 1970 by Claude Lane, founder of Modern Electric Tramways Limited, which had previously operated in Eastbourne between 1954 and 1969. "14 tram cars are part of the visitor attraction, which sees over 100,000 visitors per year. All of the tram cars are based on British classic designs and vary in size between half-scale 1-2 and 2/3 scale 2-3. Most were built from scratch by Claude Lane and or his successor Alan Gardner. But 3 were built from full-sized cars which originally ran in London, Bournemouth and Exeter. Before its closure, the Seaton branch line was very popular with holidaymakers, taking holidaymakers from Seaton Junction to Seaton Town, and this is sadly all that is left of the once bustling Seaton Junction station, which is left in ruins but trains still run by it every single day. In 1966 the Beeching Act was in full swing and the railway branch line to Seaton was closed that year. During the same time the St Leonard's, Ryle and Eastbourne tramways was closing as well. Negotiations to purchase the Seaton Branchway site from British Rail was not granted until December 1969, and when the Eastbourne Tramway closed down, relocation from there to Seaton took place over the winter of 1969 to 1967. The new line opened on the 28th of August 1970, just in time for the end of the holiday season. Claude Lane suffered a heart attack and died on the 2nd of April 1971, just before the tramway was due to open for the new season. He died without a will in place, but his son Roger persuaded the rest of the Lane family to keep the family money invested, thus allowing the company to continue. Roger Lane joined the board of directors, and Claude's longtime assistant Alan Gardner was allowing the company to continue. During these times, the Seaton Tramway expanded multiple times, running from Colyton to Seaton, with Colyton as a stop in the middle. The station at Seaton used to represent the old Victorian stations for the times, which was in keeping with the image of the tramways. But during the 2000s, construction took place to replace the old station with a brand new station which could fit more than 2 trams in at once, and the station can be still seen to this very day. The route of Seaton Tramway currently has 5 stops: Seaton, Riverside Halt, Wetlands Halt, Colliford and Colyton. Seaton Tram Station is the southern terminus of the tramway. The station is situated in the town centre of the town of Seaton, in the English county of Devon. The terminus at Seaton opened in 1975 and has since been entirely rebuilt twice. The most recent rebuilding has resulted in the construction of a modern enclosed building suitable for operating all year round, and which acts as a venue for a range of tramway and community-based events. When Seaton Tramway first opened in 1970 to 1975, the line's southern terminus was located at Riverside, just to the north of Riverside Depot. Riverside temporarily became the terminus again in 2017 to 2018, whilst the new Seaton station was under construction. Riverside has fully surfaced platforms and a passing loop, and is sometimes used out of season in connection with special events. In February 2020, a new decked extension was constructed, sited between the track and over the riverbank, in preparation for Riverside's use as a permanent halt. Completion was delayed due to the effects of the COVID-19 lockdown, and the opening was postponed until the 1st of August 2022. Riverside Depot and Halt was actually the location of the old Seaton branch line station, and it became repurposed as a shed for all the trams and as a good spot to have a picnic on a lovely day. From Riverside northwards, the tram follows the old Seaton Railway branch line. As far as Colliford, this ran on an embankment separating the Seaton wetlands to the west and the estuary to the east. The nature reserves of Seaton Marshes, Black Hole Marsh, Colliford Common and Stafford Marsh are all visible from the tram, as is the tidal estuary and the village of Exmouth on the far bank. Along this stretch there are two passing loops, known as Exmouth and Swan's Nest. Work was undertaken to turn Swan's Nest Loop into a tram stop known as the Wetlands, which also allows passengers direct access to the Seaton Wetlands nature reserves. Work was about to get underway when the COVID-19 lockdown came into force, so the work had to be postponed until winter 2021 to 2022. Wetlands Stop was eventually opened on the same day as the Riverside Stop. This area is a good spot to see the beautiful sights of the estuary and to observe all of the wildlife that this area has to offer. The fourth stop is Colliford Tram Station, which is located at the eastern end of Colliford Village. There are surface platforms and a passenger waiting shelter. The station includes the Colliford passing loop, and there is also a single siding. The railway's original gentleman's lavatory for the Victorian times is still in its original position, but no longer in use. Immediately to the north of Colyton, the line crosses the A3052 road at the level crossing. From here the line rises gently, leaving the estuary and the wetlands behind and running through the farmland. There are two further passing loops, known as Ty Lane and Cown Hayne, before Colyton tram station is in reach. The end of the line, Colyton tram station, is the northern terminus of the tramway and is situated about 0.5 miles from the centre of Colyton town. Unlike the other stations of the tramway, Colyton still retains much of the feel of the former railway station. The original high platform and the station buildings still exist, with the buildings housing the tram stop restaurant, a shop and toilets, whilst the platform provides access to the buildings and outdoor tables of the restaurant. There is also a children's play area at the northern end of the track. The former track bed at the station now houses twin tram tracks, which are set in block paving. The Colyton Station gift shop is the perfect place to buy souvenirs from your trip. Sweets, toys, dinosaur-related gifts, train-related gifts, and DVDs about old railways. You can even find a DVD there regarding the history of the old Seaton branch line. And it is a very interesting watch, trust me.
There wasn't any.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even think about that.
Luna, go in.
The total journey time of the tramway is 27 minutes, with trams running every 20 minutes, on the hour, 20 past, and 22. The tramway is also famous for its dinosaur days, since Seaton is part of the Jurassic Coast, and the dinosaur trams are a fun activity for the kiddies who love dinosaurs. The tramway operates a daily service between Easter and the end of October, with a weekend-only service operating from mid-February until Easter.
You're staying on? I was going to say, where the trees extend to where the estuary used to be,
In addition, there are several out-of-season events, principally birdwatching specials and Polar Express trips during December, which is fun for the kiddies at Christmas time. Each tram on the line represents a specific era from when the trams were built, some dating back all the way to the early 1900s, with 3 being built in the early 2000s. with each one representing their different eras. But possibly one of the most iconic trams on this line is number 4, the Blackpool Open Boat Tram. This tram is often used for special occasions and is a wonderful sight whenever it's out and about. But my personal favourite out of all of them is car number 9, which is based on design elements from Plymouth and Blackburn tram cars. And what makes this one my favourite is the blue colour schemes and the fact that it advertises my favourite fish and chip shop in Seaton, Fridays. Another personal favourite of mine is car number 2, based on the Metropolitan Electric Tramway's Type A open topper, because it advertises Pecorama and the Beer Heights Light Railway, which as you know is one of my favourite childhood places. Seaton Tramway holds a special place in my heart because I've been visiting it ever since I was a kid. I would visit the tramway as often as I visited Pecorama back in the 90s, and I still visit there to this very day. The tramway runs on a regular basis, carrying passengers up and down the old branch line. And they not long ago celebrated the 50th anniversary in 2020. Unfortunately, planned celebrations were cancelled due to the COVID-19 restrictions, but the occasion was marked with some planned specials on trams 4 and 8. The charity was recipient of the Cultural Recovery Fund, provided by the government in response to the COVID-19 lockdown. The award was in the amount of £435,100 and went towards wages, maintenance and partners and exhibitions. Visitors to the spectacular area in Devon can enjoy tram rides up and down the estuary daily, to see the beautiful sights and to have a nice stop at Seaton for fish and chips and to take in the sea air. Whatever the weather, this tramway sets the scene for such a day of fun. These trams may be small and old-fashioned, but they represent a happier time during the golden age of public transport in Britain, and they're still continuing to this very day. If you haven't visited Seaton Tramway yet and are interested in trams, then I highly recommend checking this place out. You'll have a fun ride on the trams, you'll get to see so many spectacular sights, and it's a great way to spend a summer holiday at the seaside. Classic trams, seaside villages, and a history of how it used to be a branch line. What more could you want from a wonderful place? These old trams and this line is going to live on for many generations to come.